How far, though, do you think that this Thunder team can go in the Western Conference?
Where I think they can go is all the way. Whether they will or not, to me, depends on some of the things that Griff mentioned about late game execution and shot quality at the end of games.
All the way as in a championship?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that in the Western Conference, because of the way that they defend, the level of physicality that they play with, and the level Paul George is playing at, they are kind of, to me, the dark horse that can stand up to the Warriors in a Western Conference Finals matchup. Adams and Cousins matching up in the middle. Paul George, if Roberson comes back, Westbrook, they have defensively, I think, what you need to try and impact the Warriors. But the execution and the shot quality offensively is what may hold them back to not get over that hump.
Yeah, and I think Schroeder's been so critical for them in terms of what he's been able to give them. You know, people don't talk about this. First of all, I think Paul George is the most underrated superstar in our league, and I really don't think it's close. I think he's the most underrated by miles.
Wow.
And this is a guy that when we played Indiana in the playoffs, and Paul George was really their only focal point offensive player.
Right.
Every time he had the ball, we thought he was making a basket. Every time he touched it late in some of those games, it didn't matter if LeBron was on him. It didn't matter who was on him. When he gets rolling, he can really score. He defends. He makes the right read the vast majority of the time. He's incredibly coachable. He's a good teammate. And we just don't talk about him all that much when we talk about the very best players in our league. And he's become incredibly prolific from a statistical standpoint as well.
Right.
I mean, tonight's game is absurd. 47 points on 26 shots. 9 of 11 from the line and a triple-double, and we just don't talk about it. And I think when you look at the Schroeder acquisition, you look at what they did in successfully recruiting and retaining Paul George, they took their tax exposure down by $70 million from where it was entering the summer, or rather after Paul decided to stay. Sam Presti ought to get a lot of love as Executive of the Year, and the fact that that's not talked about very much, also kind of surprising.